Tonight, on the dawn of one of the most important months in Speedway history, a battle rages where a wounded warrior from a year ago returns to conquer his fears. A place where art meets a lasting legacy, as only the two can, and where change is constant, just the way the founding fathers intended. It's time to make memories in the month of May again, right now, on Trackside 6.
Live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and WRTV 6 Sports, this is Trackside 6.
Good evening. Welcome, everybody, back live at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway 2016, getting set eventually for the 100th running of the Indianapolis 500. I'm Dave First, Brad Brown. We're starting the month like this. Really?
Well, hey, rain, go away when the time comes to run the stuff that counts. Hopefully it'll be nicer here.
If we get it out of the way,
right,
we'll forget this ever happened, right?
Absolutely.
Just get it out of the way for the 100th running. We're going to talk about the 100th running in just a bit, but practice today getting ready for Saturday's Grand Prix of Indianapolis. Take a look at what happened in All Eyes with the number 9 machine of Target Chip Ganassi driver Scott Dixon. Scott, I think, is anxious to get going this weekend in this race. Had a tough time 2 years ago, got involved in a spin halfway through last year. He got taken out by Elio Castroneves and finished 10th. Today, his second practice began with a spin. Nothing major, though. It was a long, lazy quarter turn before coming to a stop. So came back in, changed tires late, went back out to the fastest speed, miles an hour. Take a look at the quick six as Dixon turns a lap at a minute 9 and change, minute 9.8281, followed by Simon Pagenaud, a guy who's already won here at the Speedway in the Grand Prix. Graham Rahal is a tremendous story, essentially a one-car team, driving the Honda. They're a bit behind the 8-ball, if you will, but Graham is doing a great job in that 15 machine. Sebastian Bourdais, Will Power, another Penske in there. And don't forget, really, about another guy, James Hinchcliffe. Didn't have a lot of practice time in the first practice today. Came out strong in the second. He, too, is in a Honda for Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports, but you could tell that James Hinchcliffe is ready to go this weekend.
Yeah, Dave, you got to remember, Hinch watched last year's Indy 500 from a hospital bed after that terrible crash on the final day of practice. But the resilient young Canadian driver has worked his way back and another chance to tame the Brickyard, and Hinch is grateful for a second chance at success.
James Hinchcliffe getting set to go in his car as well. Driver suiting up for what's scheduled to be a 3.5-hour practice session. Doing a little work down there in that gold number 5.
When you finally came about and you kind of had your wits back to, who was the first person you made contact with when you finally woke up that you can recall?
I remember 3 people right away. I remember seeing one of the nurses. I remember seeing my girlfriend, and I remember seeing Marco. The doctors at Methodist hadn't seen that particular injury before, but have had to deal with arteries being hit and things like that. So the real unknown was happening at the car.
But the stars all aligned that day, and Hinchcliffe would survive the horrific crash.
The whole process from moment of impact to waking up in ICU, every single person that laid a hand on me, but from then to then, has as big a role as everybody else, and is equally weighted and is equally revered in my mind.
What followed was more than a week in the hospital, much of it in intensive care. Less than a month later, though, Hinchcliffe was back at the track, with all thoughts working toward getting back to racing.
Going through this process of getting back to as much Hinch as you can be at this point, how difficult has this been?
In a lot of ways, obviously, it's been very difficult being taken away from my sport for that length of time was very difficult, obviously. I had so much support from so many people, friends, family, medical staff, safety staff, fans, strangers. I honestly feel like I got off easy.
Less than 5 months after the crash, Hinchcliffe was back behind the wheel at Road America in Wisconsin.
I came through turn 1, a little bit hot, car snapped sideways, 4th gear corner pretty quick, and just reacted, kept going, didn't even lift, and I thought to myself, okay, I can still do this. I just got an IndyCar sideways at a $130 at Road America or whatever it was. We're good. We're good.
We're good.
Yeah.
And just last month, Hinch was back on the IMS Oval, turning laps at Indy testing, in full circle in less than a year.
Obviously, it was a bad deal, but it could have been so much worse. And so I really feel like I was lucky in how it all went down.
Hinch admitted he wasn't running 100% during that test last month here at IMS, but he said he will certainly be ready to go when practice starts on Monday.
Actually had a fire during the second practice session. Actually, the first practice session. That's why he missed a lot of the time. It's all good, though. All smiles. He's just happy to be back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We'll be back after this.
Still to come, what's old is new at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Michael Grady with a look at the changes around the world's greatest race course. And later,
He was the one to watch in last year's Indy 500. Now the one to see on the Borg-Warner Trophy. Back in Tryon, North Carolina to visit Will Behrens and last year's 500 champ, Juan Pablo Montoya, Trackside 6. Continue. Well, to butcher an old John Lovitz line, that's the ticket, unveiled a few months ago, but now the most wanted Indy 500 ticket in decades, a reserved seat to the now sold-out 100th running of the Indy 500, and on the front of it, the reigning 500 champ in Juan Pablo Montoya. You know, nowadays, so much comes with winning the Indy 500. Appearances, West Coast, East Coast, interviews everywhere, but at its heart, there is one thing that immortalizes the champion unlike any other, and that's having their likeness on the Borg-Warner Trophy. And this year, done in a whole new way. In fact, you could say nowadays Juan Pablo Montoya, well, he's the one to see on the trophy.
Montoya is going to win the 99th running.
Not 12 hours after the Indianapolis 500 comes to a close, does the work begin to immortalize the victory on the Borg-Warner Trophy. Pictures are taken of the champion, which helps sculptor Will Behrens shape the likeness. But this time, a couple of firsts.
Wow. And did that from those pictures.
A personal visit from the winning driver.
Are you serious? Yeah. Can I take a picture of that? Oh, sure. Yeah.
And a full-size likeness in an effort to enhance the smaller one, which will make for Juan's second on the trophy.
Yeah, you're down here in the second row somewhere.
Did you find you?
There you are, yeah.
The visit comes in September, and Behrens doesn't waste any time fine-tuning.
Yeah, I got your chin too pointed down this way. I got you too big up in the temples. Yeah, this is helping a lot.
It's amazing is you look at the tools and he grabs the knife and stops the knife and you go like, what the heck is he doing?
Yeah, we're getting there. This is good though.
That's gonna make the baby one look even better.
Yeah, yeah.
Will keeps each mini likeness he's made.
I've got all the molds of all 26 I've done.
That's kind of with the major nose.
Yeah.
Look at that thing. Pretty amazing.
But he's always hoping to improve the process.
You can do features, but you know, kind of the basic structure of the face, it really is hard to see that in photographs. I had it all wrong on this.
But he said the same thing with driving. You know, it's, one thing is the technique, the other thing is doing it. You know, when you do it, it just comes out naturally.
Yeah.
You can either do it or you can't.
Yeah.
It's like this, I can't. Yeah, this got a lot better here.
That's why something like this is fun. This is just the portrait. I think we got enough there.
And 2 hours later...
That is pretty freaking amazing. Damn, I'm ugly.
Of course, it doesn't end there. Slight changes and several casts are made to bring it to its silver form some 2 months later. And then to the next step, putting the likeness on the trophy, which is now upside down. This is the base, and do the honors, Will. We're going to take off the bottom of the trophy and come on in. Look at the inside of the Borg-Warner Trophy, where you'll find Will's name printed for posterity and other secrets. Even this has changed over the years, right? The base itself.
It has changed. In 2004, they rebuilt this entire thing because this base under the old cup was smaller, and they ran out of squares or spaces for the winners. But this is something we see every year.
That's right. Or at least Will does, as he begins to drill into the base, preparing for Juan's likeness to get bolted inside.
The moment I wait for is when this gets mounted, and then I look at the collection, you know, as he joins his fellow winners here.
A few careful turns as to not scratch the silver. A polish here and there. Barron's 26th likeness is complete. This is the ultimate set piece right here.
It is the ultimate piece, yeah. This is most of my career in years on this trophy.
A career that's immortalized the careers of others, and this time in a whole new way. The time you spent with him is directly reflected in the likeness.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. It certainly enriches my work on it, and I think in a subtle way it does work its way into the silver image. It certainly made it a much more enjoyable experience for me.
A whole new look. Montoya, by the way, has an idea. Depending on how many wins you have, you get a different metallic head. So one-time winners are bronze, two-time winners silver, three-time winners gold, four-time winners are platinum, which is a great idea if you would have thought of that back in the 30s when they built the trophy. But anyway, still a great idea, though, Juan.
Got to go back and reset some of those multiple winners here at some point going down. One of the great traditions of the Speedway here, of course, if you come out this May, things look a little different here around the Brickyard, all part of the upgrades made for the 100th race. Michael Grady got the tour.
You know, they say the more things change, the more they stay the same. And with so much history here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, that's exactly what track officials were hoping for when Project 100 first started.
Call it a labor of love. After 3 years and 3 different phases, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway's Project 100 is a labor that's nearly complete.
Yeah, I think it went pretty much the way we envisioned. It's been an interesting situation. Every month there's something new or something different, especially this last portion where we've gotten into the grandstands here. You know, some of these grandstands are 65 years old, and so you think everything's going to be great, or you think you're relying on the drawing, and when you got into it where you were going to mount something, it was a little bit different, so we had to make a lot of field adjustments. But other than that, it's gone pretty well.
Longtime racegoers and even past and present drivers were a little apprehensive about the changes underway at the Speedway, but that's something track officials took under careful consideration.
And we face it in everything we do, is balancing what makes us special, which is our history and tradition, but also trying to upgrade the facility a little bit so it feels more like a modern amenity that you'd get at a stadium like Bankers Life or Lucas. So a stadium seat, for example, which was foreign until this year, you got a folding chair or a bench. So those are the kind of things we wanted to do, but at the same time, we didn't want people to come in and look at this and go, wow, it looks like a brand new place, because what makes us special is the things you're used to in the history of the place.
Project 100 began with the laying down of the new road course, then the video boards and a new pylon, and now the new catch fence around the track, a new Gate 1 entrance and seat renovation, which provides the ability to offer seating for those with disabilities and high-demand sections. And though Project 100 is nearly complete, the work is still not over.
I'm excited. What I'm really excited about is just opening up, because we can think through how this thing's going to work, but we're going to learn a lot on practice days. We're going to learn a lot of the Angie's List Grand Prix, and we're going to learn a lot race day for the 500, and then we'll make it better going forwards. That's really what I want to see, is get people up here and give us the feedback. This worked, this didn't, fix this. It's like living in a home, right? You got to live in it for a little while before you know where the furniture goes or where the light switches really need to be. So that's really what we're looking forward to. Just get people in here and get their feedback.
Michael Grady, Trackside 6.
Coming up, Tony Kanaan knows IndyCar, but does he know anything in the kitchen? The former Indy 500 champ takes us to South Florida and a restaurant which has become his home away from home. Plus, a look ahead to the Grand Prix weekend when this Trackside 6 special continues.
For the 7th straight season, it's great to have our buddy Tony Kanaan with us, and once again serving as our Trackside 6 driver analyst. Had a blast shooting our annual promo a couple of weeks ago, and you'll see the result of those over the next couple of weeks. The 2013 Indy 500 champ returns, driving the number 10 for Chip Ganassi Racing, once again sponsored by NTT Data this month. Day first, back live at it's raining even harder now at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. TK, as you know, former champion. He can do a lot of things. One thing he cannot do, though, is cook. Until now. from race course to 3-course. He has 17 wins, a series championship, and of course an Indy 500 win. But did you ever wonder what really fuels Tony Kanaan? So here we are again in South Florida. Welcome to an Italian restaurant in Key Biscayne called Tutto Pizza and Pasta.
I came up with the idea to come to my favorite restaurant in town and maybe learn how to cook, because every month of May that I spend in my bus, I'm tired of eating bad.
We're going to take care of this right now.
Well, here we are with Chef Juka, a good friend of mine. I've been coming to this restaurant for 20 years.
Turn and open. Turn and open.
Can I turn left? Turn left. My forearms burn. Come on, bro. Take one for the team.
Mine's already better than yours.
Turn left.
With the warm-up over, we began by going with something all right.
My favorite appetizer is?
It's the burrata with prosciutto. It's a fresh mozzarella topped with cream of milk.
I picked the best burrata.
And the reduction of balsamic vinaigrette.
Dave, remind me to steal the balsamic, because he makes these.
I'll make a note. Stealing balsamic.
Yeah.
There you go.
Bam. Although it's an Italian restaurant, Juca is Brazilian. I tell you what, I'm going to stick with my day job. Sunday nights, as a tradition, we eat pizza.
And we gotta turn the pizza. We think to cook it's easy, like a, driving.
Driving? No. That's why I chose driving.
Next up, the main course.
We're going to make my favorite main course, which is a linguine pasta with truffle. I don't know how we're going to get all these little cups and stuff for Indy.
We're going to steal all of this.
This is a pecorino cheese with truffle.
Do you want pecorino cheese?
This is the truffle.
All right.
This is called pasta cooker.
Do you want pasta cooker? All right. It's ready to go.
Very good, Tony.
Mr. First.
Finally, the taste testing begins.
Yes, burrata, especially made.
The mozzarella is bold, sweet cream inside, buttery.
Oh my! Well, I didn't do anything on that one. I just put the plate together.
That's why it's good. Up next, the linguine. The presentation's fantastic.
Presentation is everything.
It really is.
Like, when we go on TV, me and you, we put makeup on and all this stuff, and people look at us in the street like, I thought you're a lot taller than that.
And the truffle like a treasure.
I help you out on the last bite, because here's the thing. Did you save room for dessert?
You said dessert? Yep, Kanaan's a connoisseur of that as well.
Strawberry pizza.
Strawberry
with chocolate. And then we have the quattro leches, which is
4 milk, right?
And we have the pave, right?
Yeah. Maria cookies dipped in the chocolate, whipped cream, and condensed milk. And also with the strawberry.
Ultimately, he may pass the competition on the track, but rarely passes on a chance to eat here. From the brick oven to the brick yard, perhaps for many years to come.
I hope you guys enjoy this.
You really know what this would go well with, don't you?
Well, as soon as we win the 500, we have the bar of milk.
Milk. Good luck.
I'll make sure I'll bring the milk.
Still to come, at a track known for its left turns, which driver will start the month of May the right way? A look ahead to the Speedway's Grand Prix weekend when Trackside 6 continues.
A look ahead to our Saturday coverage. The RTV6 Grand Preview pre-race special starts at 1 o'clock. ABC Network takes over 3:30. Alan Bestwick and the guys on the call, and we'll be here at 6 for a full 1-hour post-race special. RTV6, the only place to see the race this May.
Look at this. Jess from Levy Restaurant just stopped by with some drinks.
Well, yes, we will.
Nice. Thank you very much. Well, here's to May and to you. Have a great month. Thanks for tuning in. You, too, have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Let's enjoy the Grand Prix of Indianapolis on Saturday.
The race is on. The 100th Indianapolis 500 on RTV6.